live. We live. We live. Now, obviously, I don't expect nobody to be up this goddamn early. But I watched the Young Thug interview last night, right? Watched the Young Thug interview last night, and lowly and behold, or woe and behold, however the fuck you say that, it was absolutely great. You know me, see, right? I like to speak from the perspective of the observer. Let's make sure. I don't think I'm live on IG yet. Hold up. Oh, it don't matter. I like to speak from the perspective of what's the shit called? The observer, right? And I see like nobody's wanting to do that, right? So I have a so-called street background as well. So a part of me still understands that lifestyle. A part of me still understands that lifestyle that the guy's speaking from. A part of me still understands the lifestyle that Young Thug is speaking from, and that's what I'm gonna get into today. It's not more about the content, more about the context. We looking from an observer's standpoint of what Young Thug and Big Bang Black on YouTube had an interview about, which is his life. He talking about this man's life, right? And if you watch the actual fucking interview, you will see why I named it the identity crisis. Based off of what we've been talking about here, everything that I've been saying on this motherfucker live stream or YouTube shorts or Instagram reels or what the fuck ever. Cause I come from that lifestyle, right? So a nigga come from a street lifestyle, so I'm gonna have some sympathizing towards that whole situation. Not necessarily just him, but the whole situation. And if you pay attention to the whole situation, and that's why I say Big Bang was the perfect person for this interview. Because obviously, unless you just ain't been tapped in or don't care, which is fine, because I really don't care, but I'm still seeing it. The jail call leaks from Young Thug, right? So Young Thug got these jail call leaks that's been leaking, and everybody just been tearing his ass up. For one, he was talking shit about his friends, and he did something similar as far as talking inside the investigation room. And he did his job. I didn't say it's sufficient for everybody, but he did what he needed to do to clear up whatever allegations were held towards him, because it's very hard to side with him on when you get the investigation tapes and he's sitting there talking and saying this take my number down, anything you want to know type shit. So he explained that, right? And I'm not here to defend or say that was some bullshit. I really don't care. A nigga out the street life, so all that street shit can really kiss my ass, to be quite 100. But here's something that I noticed from this video. Now, a little backstory, something short. Now, I met Big Bang Black, not on some like somebody just personally introduced me to him. I had a cousin who used to throw parties back in the day, maybe 2011, 2010, 2011. And Big Bang Black had a record label called Duct Tape Entertainment. And during that era, Alley Boy was the one. So him and Jeezy had this song called Folk. And my cousin threw parties and brought him to the club. And me and my partner, my day one partner, we rapped. You know what I'm saying? We was a known two individuals inside the rap community. And we got to actually go to the back. My cousin sent to the backstage like, bro, y'all niggas need to get a feature. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, work y'all magic. Y'all can get back here. Fuck it. Come on back here. We went to the back, met Alley Boy and Big Bang. And I'm giving this for a reason. You understand what I'm saying? And Big Bang was in the back. And He's actually the nigga. Big Bank is actually a OG in Atlanta. I can't say whatever Atlanta nigga feels about Big Bank Black. I don't know, but I can see as an observer that people respect him as an OG, and I respect him as one too because I've seen the man. Like, now I haven't obviously been in Atlanta and been in the streets with him, but what I have seen from him is he was a real street nigga, and the people around him respected him as that, and he was an older cat, right? So if you know anything about the whole duct tape thing, from the outside observer standpoint looking in, because I wasn't born and raised in Atlanta, but when he came to my hometown, I got to meet him, and I see how. If you've been in the streets, you know what type of nigga is the nigga who's the front line, who's the front runner, who's the boss, or who's the OG. Let's just say that, because people don't like being placed under the boss, but let's just say an OG. And I seen the way that OG carried itself. Everybody surrounded him. Everybody surrounded him. So that's why that's the reason why Young Thug sit there and actually had to I feel like that's why he had to interview with him, because he respect him. The Young Thug is calling out for help. He's going through a mental, I wouldn't even say crisis, but that's kind of extreme, but I will say he's going through something fairly strong as far as his mental, obviously, right? He just went through all this, and he feels that everybody betrayed him and all this and that. Again, I'm not here to support his point of view. I'm here to observe his point of view and the whole view of the situation. Remember, I keep telling y'all, you love to judge people. You niggas love to judge people from your standpoint of view of how, oh, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have did that. That's some whole shit. That's some fuck nigga shit. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have did this. Man, couldn't be me. Now, granted, he got on people's ass for something that they did to him or said to the police, and he actually did something similar. Cool. Well, not cool for a lot of people, but who gives a fuck? But cool for this situation that we're talking about. And he got on there to address that with an OG that he's actually seeking help from. Sometimes people are so fucking self-centered and so egotistical as far as ego goes. When I say ego, I mean, over here you should know, if you're watching my video, you should know as far as identification. Placing limitations and identifying. It's hard for a nigga. He got all these millions, got all this fame. If you can see from his his phone call recordings, even though I see that he was even in a fucked up place mentally. You know what I'm saying? Being locked down, 23-hour lockdown. A lot of us ain't been through that. A lot of us don't know what the fuck type of conversations we would be having, especially being in that person's shoes. A lot of people say what they will and what they won't do, bro. I've seen it in the streets. Niggas go to jail, don't tell. On some big shit. Get out, get back in the streets, and then go to jail again. Won't tell again. Get out, come back home, get back in the streets again, and fuck this shit, bro. And tell. So niggas always say what they won't do when they face with one situation, but you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what the fuck ever. You niggas not fooling me. I'm here to talk about the mind. And here's the thing about this man's mind. First of all, he called out for help for the OG. He called out to, like, whether he believes it or not, he called out help to the OG. He said it, like, I look up to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do. Because Big Bang having a conversation with him and telling him, this is how he started off the interview. This is how you know I'm commending Big Bank's growth too. Because like I said, I seen the type of nigga he was. If you been around them type niggas, you know. It's just a knowing. You ain't got to guess, you know. So, once you pay attention, Big Bank was that type of street nigga. But Big Bank didn't been to therapy. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? He is on a healing journey. Big Bank has been on a healing journey. From a rough, rugged street nigga to a person who's healed, who's getting closer with his self and the God or the God, because I think he Ephi and the other gods that, you know what I'm saying, that he's aligned himself with. He's doing that work, that he's done that inner work. Let's just say that he's done the inner work, or he's doing the inner work still, and people still look at him. And he talked about the whole change thing. See, this is the thing that we don't really have coming up in the streets. A motherfucker who really did some change and still has the influence over the younger crowd. Big Bank is one of those. Big Bank is one of those people, and that's why Young Thug called out for help to him. I feel like it was a call out for a cry for help, obviously to explain himself and his situation, what's been going on, but also he's crying out for help. Now, granted, I got like 39 more minutes to watch of the interview, but the whole gist of the interview, Big Bank started off with asking the nigga, "How you feeling?" Ask him how you feeling, boom, boom, boom. This how you know Big Bank been to therapy. He asked him, first question, what's your earliest childhood memory? What is your earliest memory? Start off with it. What's your earliest memory, right? He's finna dig into the so-called subconscious mind with this. What's your earliest memory? What's your earliest memory? Man, fuck this goddamn hat. Goddamn. He asked the nigga, what's your earliest memory? He run his earliest memory. What's your earliest happiest memory? He run his earliest happiest memory. What's your earliest saddest memory? Saddest memory? Was it when he was not, Young Thug was 9 years old? Brother got. If you ain't watched the interview, go watch the fucking interview. I'm not gonna give all the fucking details about it. So, what up, Zero? Facts, bro. You understand everything when you grind yourself in a pea. So Big Bang asked Young Thug. What he started digging psychologically. He started getting into his psyche. What's your earliest memory? Sunshine Chick, what's happening? Happy motherfucking Sunday. He asked the man, what's your earliest memory? His earliest memory, or painful memory, was his older brother died holding him in his mama's hand. His older brother got killed. Big Bang asked these questions to see where I don't know if that was his purpose, but that was the purpose that I got from it, to pull out his identity. His identity is rooted in trauma. He's seen his older brother get killed. And he had his older brother's funeral on his birthday. His older brother got killed 3-4 days before his birthday, and his older brother's funeral was on his birthday. Think about the trauma that's going to set. Because when you're that young, obviously 8, 9, or any age, obviously, and your brother fucking get killed, that fucking hurts. So, and you sitting there, and your older brother just got killed in front of you, and he said, you know what I'm saying, just earlier that day, he was telling like, yeah, boy, I'm going to give you $100 for your birthday. So, first of all, he grew up with 12 fucking siblings in the projects in Atlanta. 12 siblings in a 4-5 bedroom apartment inside the projects, which I don't know how the fuck that works. Because what we call the projects is made out of bricks. So I think in Atlanta, a lot of them apartments that people, but maybe they had, I'm not sure because I'm not from Atlanta, so forgive me if I'm stating anything wrong, but it's like they grew up in a 5-bedroom apartment inside the projects, you know, so, and they had roaches. And the reason I'm finna bring this up is because one of his also most hurtful memories is his auntie, when his mama and dad, I guess they was going through shit, and they needed him a place for them to stay. He had an auntie, his auntie was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? You got all them damn kids. Them kids can't come over here. Like, she love them, but you can't come over here because, first of all, y'all got roaches. And like, you know what I'm saying? And he hearing his auntie say all that about them, and hell, now they can't come over here. Y'all can't, them kids can't come over here. And like, that broke his heart. So, he got one trauma-filled memory. I'm connecting the dots here. Pay attention. He got one trauma-filled earliest memory of his brother being killed. Then he has another trauma fear of being rejected by people he genuinely loves. He loves his auntie and he loves his cousin. And what does a kid want to be? Everybody just wants to be fucking accepted. Everybody want to be accepted in their family, from their parents, their cousins, their fathers, their mothers. Everybody wants that. People act like they don't give a fuck, but we do. It does something for the human mind, the human psyche, to be loved and accepted. He was rejected by his aunt, even though it wasn't. She wasn't doing it in like, no, I can't stand them goddamn kids. She was like, I can't take care of them. I got 3 of my own. There's no way that I can bring in 12 other kids into my house. Like, there's no way we can do that around here. On top of that, y'all got roaches, like a lot of roaches. So y'all gonna bring roaches over here. So his mother's sister told his mother that. So this is his 2 earliest memories. I forgot his happiest memory. His happiest memory, he say, when he first moved into a house. They moved into the house, which was across the street from the projects, but still, they moved to his house. So these are where we are based from. Now we're talking about mental impressions. If you're wondering how this got something to do with spirituality and duality, we're talking about identity. Our identity is fucked up. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Damn. Our identity is actually fucked up. Or is it fucked up? I say it's quite natural to attach your identity to your surroundings, to your family, to your culture. And his mama used to always preach love, 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 love. You gotta love everybody. You gotta love everybody. This is key for the interview, because the whole interview he was talking about how he loved his friends, how he took care of his friends that he loved, and how and from his point of view, how he feels portrayed or betrayed, not portrayed, but betrayed. How he feels betrayed. Now, that's why I say Big Bang was perfect for this interview, because Big Bang is an OG and he's went through a healing process. So he obviously had to sit down with a psychologist or a therapist, whatever. And they start off, what's your earliest memory? What's your relationship with your mama? What's your relationship with your father? And his early memory is trauma with his brother, him and his mama holding his brother's hand. So, what does this have to do with identity? His identity is rooted in trauma, fear of losing loved ones. I can sympathize with that, dog. I sympathize with that. Because that was my same. I didn't get over this until, or realize this fully until 2021 with my goddamn granny. My granny was killed in 2001. You know, you don't normally hear about people's grannies getting killed. People's granny normally die from old age. Not my mother's mother. She was killed, living the life of a drug addict. My whole life I had the identity too. So he couldn't get that love. He felt that rejection of love from his family, and then his brother being killed. So he went outside and tried to make friends. Go outside and try to find that love and friends. So he doing any and everything with friends, wanting to be loved and accepted by friends. So he went out trying to do things with friends. So he was always that guy down to do things for and with his friends. Guilty. I'm guilty. Same here. And this is the common thing. Because I had these talks with my homeboy that's 1 foot in and 1 foot out the streets, or some that's in that still may want to hear it. Because I care. I genuinely give a fuck. But now I'm at a different point to where I don't feel, because we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So his identity is rooted in trauma and trying to do whatever for external love. He's feeling that love is external. And don't judge him, because everybody thinks that. Everybody feel like we need love externally. If you super healed, perfectly fine. But I want to speak in a level of generals. Cool, TGS, what's happening? What's happening? I want to speak in terms of general. In general, everybody's looking for love from doing things, transactional love from the outside. I do this for this person because I love them. It's not just love. It's I'm gonna do something to prove that I love. And that's his problem that he's having with the so-called friends on his case that so-called betrayed him. That's the problem. And I'm watching this shit. I'm like, damn, I wonder is anybody else picking up on this? No, everybody's making fucking memes and making jokes about the guy. And the guy is actually sitting here crying out for help, but his ego is so fucking big. That's why I say about the rap music, your ego gets so fucking big, it's gonna be hard to move it out the way. He can't move it out. It's hard for him to move it out the way. He trying. So I commend the man. He trying. I see little bits and pieces of it. He ain't got to that point yet where he can admit that it's getting pulled out of him by Big Bang. So his identity is rooted in that trauma. And that trauma got him rooted in trying to express love outwardly or receive love outwardly. We've all went through this. This is the point of trauma down here. This is the point of these obstacles. The whole interview is the same principle I've been telling you over here. Every obstacle is an opportunity to ultimately get you to realize yourself. By the time you get to the end of that Young Thug interview, you're gonna see that Big Bank is having him turn back inward, bro. The same shit that we talking about here. And those guys are none of that non-duality, super deep, high end occultism shit. You niggas, motherfuckers is missing the mind. You niggas is missing the mind, and you don't understand where your identity, your root trauma lies. Or your identity lies. It lies in fucking trauma. It lies in fear. It lies in fucking survival, bro. Hold up. Hold up, y'all. This shit supposed to be live on Facebook. So I'm probably gonna repeat a couple things that I already said because I'm putting this on Facebook. Hold up. So it's already supposed to be on Facebook, but hold up. So as I'm saying, what's going on with the nigga is young Big Bang Black is pulling this shit out of him. He's getting down to the root of the problem that, bro, he talking because, like, nah, if you listen to the interview, Young Thug just keeps saying, nah, I'm a real nigga. See, real stand-up guy, like, a real street nigga. Like, that's what I come from. That's what all these niggas come from. We come from identity with a real street nigga. Who stand on this, who stand on that. We stand on this like I'm going to stand on this, and I'm going to stand on that. So I'm a real street nigga, so real street niggas, or a real man, or a real man this, or a real street nigga that. And Bank trying to lead it to him, like, but like that shit, he trying to lead him to it, like, bro, that shit fake. That shit ain't even real. People locking themselves in with this identity that I'm a real street nigga and I'm a real man, and real men do this, and that's why I told y'all this is why this is identity crisis, because your identity is a fucking concept, and these concepts are built up over time and culture and memory impressions onto the mind, your mental impressions onto the mind. That's why I told you at the beginning of the interview, Big Bang asked him what is this nigga's earliest memory. Facebook, YouTube, what's your earliest memory? Then what's your earliest happy memory? Then what's your earliest saddest memory? Because if you understand fucking mental impressions, you're gonna understand what your mental impressions have created. It's created an identity. And everybody gonna make jokes because he's on this big platform. Everybody gonna say, he did this, I wanna did this, I wanna done that, I wanna done this, I wanna done that. Bro, I done seen millions of street niggas not millions, but I've seen enough street niggas in my life, even coming from being from that. Everybody always talking about what they gonna do till they get into that situation. And some people repeat those situations and stick and stand on what they say they gonna do, and then on the third time's the motherfucking charm, nigga. Like, damn, oh, he switched up. Like, bro, the identity that we are based off of as human fucking beings, bro. The identity is false. So even if you take it to the street perspective, you're gonna figure out that's fucking false too. And that's what Big Bank was trying to tell them. Like, you still talking about this and this and this and that, but at the beginning of the interview, you said your earliest memory was based off of trauma. Young Thug seeing his daddy get killed. His brother get killed. So his first thing, like I told y'all, YouTube, I'm repeating because I'm on Facebook now too. So his earliest memory is nothing but based off of trauma. He seen his brother get killed. He lost the loved one, the closest one, his big brother, died in him and his mama hand. He asked him what's his other memory. His other memory was his auntie when his mama was going through shit. That his auntie, we're talking about identity here. This relates to every motherfucking body. Well, his auntie rejected him, and his auntie rejected him. Told him they couldn't come over here because there's too many of them. His loved ones rejected him. So now he's going outside searching for love. What do niggas do in the game, bro? Every nigga that I knew and grew up with in the gang, is not that they didn't have love in the house. They felt like they didn't have the sufficient love, so we joined gangs and got with the gang and started doing whatever it was with the gang. Same reality that this nigga lived, right? But you gotta remember, it's based off of motherfucking trauma in the search for love outwardly. Like I said, I'm not here to talk about the street aspect. Everybody is always trying to judge another motherfucker, but when they go through shit, they expect people to have grace and understanding for them. I don't give a fuck if it's a snitch allegation. I don't give a fuck if it's a whatever allegation. Everybody's gonna always judge a motherfucker, but everybody's gonna want that grace when it comes time for them. You gonna want to plead your case when you go to court. What's the fucking point of pleading in court or having a lawyer? You trying to plead your case. So the same shit in real deal raw reality. Everybody identity based off of this goddamn trauma, and Big Bank trying to pull it out of this nigga. Like, to see, here is your actual identity, Jeffrey. Because he asked him, now that you saying this about Gunna, I don't understand the difference between what Gunna did, what you did, what your brother did, and what Duke did. But you ain't mad at your brother, you ain't mad at what's her name. His thing is, he's so fucking caught up in his ego, and this is not a shit on him, this is like a real deal reality, because I talk to a lot of people all the time, bro, and I had to check myself from this standpoint of view as well. You identify heavily with, remember I told, this is the reason I keep bringing up, he went out and started to search for love amongst friends in the streets, and looked up to big homies in the streets, the OGs in the streets, and the gang bangers and the dope sellers in the streets. Same reality that I came from, right? False, but nonetheless the same reality. So now his way of showing love is the same shit like when I growing up trying to rap, like, bro, I can't wait to blow, bro. I'm gonna put my niggas on, I'm gonna buy my niggas this, I'm gonna get my niggas that, I'm gonna buy my mama this, I'm gonna buy my mama that. If you listen to the interview, the nigga keeps saying, I bought this for this nigga, I did this for this nigga, I bought that for that nigga, I bought that for that nigga. That's his only way of knowing how to show love. That's his only way of knowing how to show love. He don't know no other way, because his identity is covered up in trauma. So the only way that he knows is shell that and do outwardly shit to prove my love, or prove how I love y'all, prove how I love my people. Like, I helped him go half on him to get his mama a house. I bought him that apartment. You know what I'm saying? I bought his brother a truck, and his brother and he presented it to his brother, and he presented it to his mama like it was his. Very egotistical shit. He has a fucking, what they call that shit? Not a control problem, but he's very self-centered. And you listen to for them jail causes where he's very self-centered. So Big Bang pulling this shit up out of him. He like, oh, well, this is the difference. I did all this for him. How could he betray me? I had him around me more than I had my kids and my girlfriend. How could they betray me? He keep running back to this word betrayal because all he knows is trauma. He said, I'm happy though, I'm living life. Big Bang said, like, you ain't happy, that ain't what happy is. He like, what you saying, what you mean? Like, obviously, he's offended, right? Because why do you get offended? Anytime I'm on here talking about this spirit shit and I say shit, people get offended, but who is really getting offended? It's the ego. It's the identity that's getting offended. You, the real self, pure consciousness awareness, can't get offended. There's nothing to get offended about because you're only observing it. But our identity lies inside of the mind and the ego and our mental impressions. This is what people not getting and understanding. This is what people are not getting and understanding. Your identity lies in the trauma. Growing up in the hood and shit, our identity lies in trauma, and we full of love. That's what I'm telling you. I had this conversation with one of my partners, and he felt his identity lie in like, nigga got me fucked up, nigga got me fucked. I'm like, no, bro. I wrote the same conversation Big Bang Black had. I had the same conversation with my nigga Pete. That's not the case. What up, Nate? Hell yeah, bro. What up, Nate? Real shit, Nate Tree. Straight up. Yeah, Coop, check that interview out, bro. But like this is the real reality that everybody tries to ignore, and I'm gonna tell you why people doing what they doing to Young Thug, because everybody loves to see that, so now they can place themselves above. Secretly, I'm telling you, pay attention. People try to do this, and so they can place themselves above. I would have never done this. I would have never done that. So what are you secretly saying? Oh, I'm better than this person. I feel like I have a higher status or a higher value than this person. You niggas ain't tricking me. I don't know who you think you tricking, but because my natural state is to discern, viveka. Discernment of the falsity of this reality. And if I know the mind is creating this reality, why would I not break it down, the falsity of reality? Why would I not break down the mind? I'm seeing what people doing. That's why I say, like, a motherfucker who really has knowledge of self, he's not gonna sit here and feel like he's better than anybody. I got real compassion and understanding and grace because I see it in every fucking human being. Every human being. So the only way this nigga know how to show love is go out and Don't get me wrong, like, if there's anything wrong with that, but he has a selfish agenda behind it. And I'm not saying he's selfish like, hey, yo, one day I can't wait to throw this shit back in his face. Not that type of selfish. It's selfish because in the point, this is the only way that he can feel love. He can feel love because he can show love to somebody else on the receiving end. That sounds great, but then it turns into what it is now. It turns into what it is now. Well, he's just fucking hurt. I would say this though, Trey. I would say this, Trey. The love of money is the root of all evil, they say. I think that's the real quote. The love of money. I would say the love of it. Because people really do love it. That's their identity. Like, we listened to Young Thug's phone calls. That's all he kept talking about, how everybody needs to work. Why you ain't working? Why you ain't doing this? Like, I'm Young Thug. Like, I'm rich. Like, we doing this and we doing this and we doing that. He didn't root. Now he's rooted his identity into that. Why do people root their identity in something outwardly? Because they don't know who they are inwardly, bro. They don't know who they are inwardly. Zero says there's nothing, just sensation through the five senses in the mind, decodified to show you the movie. That's all we doing. If you ain't decoding the reality is gonna warp your ass. Gonna have your ass spent and tied up all different types of ways. You ain't peeping where your identity lies because everybody around you has the same goddamn identity. So it's normal. It's normal. So, Big Bang pull that up out of him about what's his earliest memory, so we know his trauma and we know he was searching for love. That's all we was doing in the streets. You from the streets, you know, we searching for love. The same thing. That's why I tell you, niggas grow up in the streets and think they this big, Billy bad, tough guy. Bro, you came out screaming, crying for mama's titty. That's your true nature. Love. You reaching for love, or you want connection with love. But everybody's running from that. People act like they are not that, and they try to fight that type of shit off. But in reality, you're trying to protect it. Listen to what I'm saying. You're trying to protect that. You're trying to protect that love, so you become angry and mad at the fucking world. Because you feel like that love can be taken from you. You don't understand it. So, and there's nobody in your household. There's nobody in your church. There's no friends. There's no auntie, no cousins. Everybody's trying to worry about getting money and taking care of business or doing whatever the fuck they do. Nobody has time to turn you inward to let you know that love exists within. And not just on some cliche shit. Because I'm a nigga who done found it for real. Like, this ain't no cliche ass, oh, love is in you, and I found that for real, and I understand it for real. So there's no one who can take it away from me. There's no one who can give it to me. And that I know this, now that I know this, what suffering? So Big Bang told him, hey, you ain't happy. He was like, what you mean I am happy? Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm out here living life. I'm back to the word. I'm living life. I'm living life. He's like, nah, no, you ain't, because you still out here talking about it. He said, a happy man wouldn't even be stuck. And like, a person with true happiness, this wouldn't even do nothing to him. This wouldn't even hurt him. He like, damn. He was like, no, but they betrayed me. They did this, and I feel like we real man and we stand on these principles, this and this and that. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you ain't let it go. You can't let it go. He like, I can't. How can I? When I did all this and I did all of that. He like, how can I let it go when I did all this and I did all of that? They betrayed me, and granted that shit hurts. And I'm not, like I'm saying, I'm not talking about his allegations of him snitching and him pillow talking. I don't give a fuck. Because I'm going to tell you, you'll figure out that a lot of people, damn near everybody do that shit. People even making little memes about how they mamas and they grandmamas sit on the phone and talk about everybody. So, what's the fuck the difference? Why you ain't exposing your mamas and your grandmamas? Why niggas ain't doing, you see what I'm saying? Niggas ain't doing that though. Because it's Young Thug and he's somebody to talk about. You easily gonna do that. The falsity of people and their judgments that they try to place on people and not knowing that they are the same. Cool TJ says, I'm getting major breakthroughs with this non-duality, but some of the emotional shit is a motherfucker to transform. Mainly because I've dug into the mental impressions due to deep trauma, pain, and identity. That's what I'm talking about, Coop. That's what I'm talking about. Watch that interview, bro. You will see it. Especially with what we've been teaching on here as far as non-duality, peep it. It's the identity crisis. That's why I call it an identity crisis. And so he started crying. He like, Big Bang was like, what I tell you as soon as you got home? First, when you got home, get your, you know what I'm saying, get focused, get back on this and do this and do this and do that. He said, I feel like you ain't doing that. You crashing out, though. You crashing out. He was like, but how? Like, he offended. Who's offended? The ego's offended. The mind is offended. The false identity is offended. He's offended. Watch it. He gets offended. Why is he offended? Because you're saying his identity that he's this concept of his identity that he's identifying with is not real. He's basically telling him it's not real. You're like, nah, a person who here and who happy, they ain't gonna be responding with what you doing. You know what I'm saying? You Twitter fingers and shit, like, what are you doing? You saying all this and this and this and that about him, like, what are you doing? Thug like, well, damn, like, I thought I was happy. He put them glasses back on because he started crying. Like, he thought he was happy. He thought who he was, who he say he was. But that ego didn't boost it. That's why I let rap music go, because the spiritual journey in a rap shit, it ain't gonna work, because the rap is gonna do nothing but boost your motherfucking ego. I mean, the normal version of ego, prideful ego, and also the identification, the real true ego, the identification. It's gonna be hard for you to move around that identity that you have now. Oh, I came from nothing. We came from the trenches, for real, for real. Now we got this. Now we got this. Now we living like this. So you're gonna feel like, hell yeah, like you're gonna feel like fucking Superman. Rightfully so. You're gonna feel like Superman. But if y'all watch my story, I just shared something from Will Smith. He said, I wish everybody could have everything that they ever to dream of, only to figure out that what they dream of is not it. Watch my story. It's not it. It's gonna take a lot of people, multiple lifetimes, to figure that shit out. And I'm not saying, never will I say don't get you some money. Be broke. You know what I'm saying? Don't run a bid and don't take. Never will I say no bullshit like that. But the thing is our identity lies in that. I'm a nigga with money who didn't have money. Oh, I'm a nigga with this, or I'm a that, or I'm a this, and I'm a that. Listen to the Young Thug interview. Everything he's talking about is his identity. And it's all based off of shit that changes. People gonna say, I've been the same my whole life. There's no way you can. You came from a baby to a child, to a teenager, to a young man, to a grown ass man. You're gonna go to an old man, hopefully. In every one of those states, your mind has changed. Every one of those states, your mind has changed. And also, in between those states, your mind is going to, if you go to jail and you've been in the free world your whole life, your mindset is going to change. You have to adapt to the mindset in a jail. Mental impressions that we're talking about here. You're going to pick up those mental impressions and move through jail with those mental impressions on how to move. Stay in there long enough or you repeatedly go back, you're going to bring that shit out here into the outside world. Mind has changed. Identity has changed. You start getting money, you're going to start identifying with the money and the niggas that's around you getting money. Everybody's influenceable. Everybody's impressionable. Rafe, what's happening? Facts. What Zero said, I know one magician that said he don't identify himself as a person, but as an idea. Because that's really all we are. You ain't nothing but a fucking idea. The street nigga mentality is nothing but an idea that's obviously fucking dying. And it's been death the whole time. That identity's so fucking false, bro. It don't make no sense. That's why I say when you have a concept, an idea, when you have an idea, here it is. Here's your fucking idea. Anything that touches the boundaries of it or goes, you're not gonna know what the fuck to do. Cause now you're in a whole different state of mind. You come from a real rough, rugged street nigga, and then next thing you know, you in fucking millions. You don't know how to identify. You don't know how to adapt to that shit. Because all you know is the streets. That's why them niggas bring that street shit into the music. Because that's the only thing they know how to identify with. Your identity has to shift. Or your mindset has to shift. The mind should be able to be adaptable to many situations. But because your identity is rooted in this one thing, if you get into another situation, you're gonna fold. When I say fold, I don't mean snitch. When I say fold, your mental state is not, you're gonna crash out. which is what Big Bang Black was telling Young Thug. You crashing out. He didn't know he was crashing out. Ain't nobody around him tell him that he's fucking crashing out. So his conversation with Big Bang Black was a cry out for help. He started crying on the motherfucker, bro. He like, I thought I was happy. Like, I thought I was happy. Like, what do I do then? What do I do? What do I do? Because I thought I was happy. You not happy, bro. You hurt. And you can't get past it. You can't forgive them. You can't forgive yourself. You can't forgive yourself for attaching your love to things that you do. And that's why I say that's the problem with love as well. Everybody wants a man to do this. If you attaching his value of love based off of what he physically can buy and do for you, it ain't gonna be love. It's gonna be conditional. It's not gonna last long. Because why? There's gonna come a point where you're not gonna be able to do that for that person. That's the cycle of life. That's prakriti for those on my YouTube. That's prakriti. There's this. It's ebbs and flows in life. You're not gonna be able to do it. So when someone's basing, that's why I keep telling men, quit basing yourself off of how much of a man you are because of what you can do. There's going to come a time where you can't do it. There's going to come a time where you ain't going to be able to hear the same, see the same, smell the same, taste the same, fuck the same. There's going to come that time and walk the same. And if you can't do it in your mind, alertness and sharpness is not going to be the fucking same. So then what? Now you're no longer a man based off of those fucking false ass values and principles. What do you do now? Tell me. Somebody tell me, what do you do now? You're going to have a fucking identity crisis. You're going to feel like you a failure. You're going to feel like you ain't worth it. And oh, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You ain't going to want to hear that pity shit. I'm talking about real world, so-called dream world shit. Dream world shit. I feel similar. My identity, myself at 0 since 11 years old. My inner self, in some way or fashion, know about this non-existence. Facts. I've been out of the identity crisis stuff. People get so wrapped up in that, and it creates confusion. That's all it's doing, right? That's all it's doing, 0. I knew a friend that spent 14 months in jail. I lived with them for 1 year, and they literally said I live as I'm in jail. Same here with my friends, bro. The greatest way of understanding love is understanding the idea of letting go. Facts. Cody says, I think morals is what makes a man, in a sense. In dignity. Now, on a body-mind complex, on a normal human being complex, I'm going to say definitely what makes a man is his morals and his values. On a body-mind complex. But here's the thing about that shit. That's going to get shaken up. You're going to be put in a... This is why I do consultation. Like, you need to understand your values. And you need to understand what's your highest value. Not what's a high value man or a high value woman. Your values. Because you're going to need to understand when to shift that. Because you may have a high value of, let's say, you may have a high moral standard of protecting women from men, right? Men that abuse women. Okay, you get into a situation where there's a woman who's running up and stabbing people, and a man catches her and start beating her ass. Like, she just randomly running up, stabbing people, men, women, and children, right? Or maybe all men, right? Maybe she just running up and causing harm to men with knives, and one man catch her and beat her ass. Where does your values and moral lie? Because if oh yeah, I'm super protective over women are doing this, oh no, I'm just gonna let her continue to kill and murder everybody that she fucking sees, and even though it might be me and my son, I'm super. You see what I'm saying? You need to learn where to shift your values in different situations. But values and morals, I still will say that. But there's going to change. There's going to be something in life that's going to throw it at you, and you're going to have to think fucking quick. And you're going to result back to what? Your fucking mental impressions. They're strong. You're not getting away from mental impressions in this life. You'll result back to that. You'll result back to that. This is all I'm trying to get people to say, to get people to see, because everybody wants to zoom in on the next person's life and talk shit about their life. Granted, I make jokes about this whole situation. I made jokes, but in reality, this is my point of view. I don't take none of this shit to that level. I'm not emotionally attached to none of it. A lot of people are, and saying that they're not, but you can tell by the way that they may post or the way that they speak about it. They're emotionally attached to it. I'm attached to observing, not judging. Observing, because I understand the fucking reality ain't real no way. Literally understand that it's not real no fucking way. And all I am doing is observing anyway. That's the only real reality. So when I see a nigga hurt, and he moving from that hurt, but he think he's moving from being a real man or a real street nigga. He think he's moving from that point. He don't even know that that identity is based off trauma and hurt. Where's your identity? Where's your identity lie? What are you going to do when those things change? What are you going to do? As a woman, as a man, what are you going to do? What Zero Wave say? Gratitude. I'm still a student of life myself, just learning as I go, honestly. Facts, bro. Cody says this is like in Christianity, most Christians are so far off based. Hold up, Keon. I'm finna read your hold up. You gotta read YouTube. When they say you don't have this or you're going to hell, it's opposite of what your faith is, me as a Christian. Because who is one person to say, who is one person to say to another? Who are you to, what it even said in the Bible. How you gonna say you love God and you bypass your brother up every day? You reject your brother, you reject your sister every day. You talk shit about them every day. You disregard them every day. Like they ain't shit, they ain't this and this and every day. But you wanna come to your Father God and ask for grace. No. That person is God too. You see what I'm saying? That person is too. I could never have a real deal opinion about another person as if they were less than. I can't. Have I before? Fucking right. Let's see what Kiana said. I definitely observed that a lot of them are emotionally attached to the situation of Thug and Sierra. Facts. Facts. It's a lot of attachment to it because people see their trauma. They see their hurt in these situations. And they want to project what they would do and what should be done for everybody else's life. When we can't get the shit done in our life. We feel like we don't make all the right decisions in our goddamn life. Or do we? I'm more of the person that says we do. But let's speak on a mind-body level complex. We don't. Everybody got every fucking judgment to cast at everybody else. But you too, your identity as well has been rooted in trauma. And that's what we gotta find out here. That's what we do over here on this YouTube channel. Who is that I? I don't like this. I can't stand them. I don't do this and I don't do that. Who is this I? Figure that out first. We don't know who the fuck we are in general. We don't know who the fuck we are. And we have rooted our identity in who the fuck we think we are, which is nothing but a fucking concept of falsity. A bag of nothing. A bag of bullshit. And that's to the streets. And that's to the regular, everyday, good man and good women. That goes for every last one of them. This is what I know because I studied the mind. And I've studied my shit. And I see me and you. I see you and me. There's no fucking difference. Ultimately, there's very small differences. Right? I look different. I was born different. Whatever. All that little shit. But ultimately, there's a commonality. What's the ultimate principle here? Nobody wants to stand on the principle. Nobody wants to look from the ultimate principle, the observatory view. And I just see a brother who hurt. And everything that he's done has been based off of his hurt. And trying to cover up that hurt by dishing out love outwardly. And looking for love outwardly. And that Young Thug interview is a cry for help. And I know this because I speak to people. And even if I didn't speak to people, I speak to my goddamn self. And speaking to people. Really. That's the crisis. Who are you? You're not the body. You know you're not the body because you can observe your body. We know. Let's run this back because I'm on Facebook as well. Y'all on YouTube, y'all already know. We know the knower and the known cannot be the same. So this vape, I know this vape. This vape does not know me. Me and the vape are not the same. This hat, I know this hat. Me and this hat cannot be the motherfucking same. Because I'm the knower of the hat. And then I can also say this is my hat. Which means I have ownership of the hat, which means what? Me and the hat are separate. So if I say my body hurts, who is this my or mine or this I that's referring to this body? We have to know that the body is separate from us. We got to know that. Based off, and we're not doing no deep shit here. This is everyday, ordinary experience that every human being is having. So we know we're not the body. What's the next level after that? After the body, it's gonna be the mind. You can't be the mind because I can say my mind. What's my mind? I know my mind has happy thoughts, sad thoughts, good memories, bad memories. So I'm having a good day. I'm having a good memory. I'm having a good thought. I'm having a good mental space or good mental whatever. We know the knower and the thing that's known cannot be the same. So I can't be the mind. The mind is ultimately keep changing through all of these states. So if I'm not the body in my mind, what the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I? Because the mind holds everything. Your thoughts, your memories, your emotions. You can't be your emotions. Because I am happy. I am sad. I am mad. Who is this I that's taking ownership of these emotions? The emotions have to be separate. The mind has to be separate. The body has to be separate. Who the fuck are you? I'm a real street nigga. Who is this I that's latching on to the identity of a real street nigga or a real man or a real woman? Who is that? That has to be the real you. Or somewhere close to it. Who is that? Who is this I? You are none of these things. The sooner you realize it, the way better life will go for you. That's it, y'all. We finna get out of here. As always, remember, no obstacles will apprehend you. Prosper over pain. There are no such thing as obstacles. These obstacles are only an opportunity for you to realize the self. That's what I just told you that interview of Young Thug was. All those obstacles and pain and suffering and hurt has led him up to this point where he can sit down with an OG and tell him to look back at himself. It's the whole motto we got over here on this YouTube. It's the whole motherfucking motto. Ain't nothing different. As always, stand on motherfucking principle. Stand on